This is probably one of the coolest 1/12 action figures out there. He is a beast of a figure and has the articulation and quality to match. However, he is not invincible, as one of these parts did break. Let's take a detailed look at him, go over some things you'll want to look out for, and of course, see if he's worthy of your collection. This is Manticora, Artificial Evolution B0199, from Sexy Ice 2019's Vermin series. I got this bug boy from Bombasby, who are an official distributor for Sexy Ice, and probably one of the best places to grab this kind of stuff. Super keen on all the other Sexy Ice figures too. I'll have some links down below, and do follow their socials to keep up to date as well. There's a little insert. Here are the accessories. And this is everything in the box. Here are the instructions. There are spare wrist joints as well. Of course, we're going to talk about all this stuff and what to look out for, but just in case you need a reference. This charm is a little bonus thing and we'll take a look at it later on. Here he is, has a lot of plastic protecty bits. He's pretty much all armored up in a dark gunmetal grey, with some subtle orange accents all around. His overall design and aesthetic mostly rely on the sculpt and silhouette, which I gotta say are very well done and superbly crafted, as to be expected from Sexy Ice. It is worth noting that under natural light, his details and lines are a little bit more prominent and easier to see in person. This is what he looks like with natural light coming from the left. So on camera it can be hard to see his details. He can look a little bit dull unless you have very particular lighting. It would have been nice if he glowed under UV or black light, but he doesn't do that. Doesn't really matter though, he looks cool either way. For reference, in this video I'm just using natural light as well as a small LED, so you don't really need anything fancy. He does challenge you to use different kinds of lighting though, which can be pretty fun to do. Alright, here is the articulation. So while it is pretty good, there are some things you should bear in mind. Out of the box, movement can be a bit stiff as he is a very solid boy. If you have Unkval, it's a little bit similar, but there are some differences. He has good head and neck movement, tilts quite a bit. He looks up. And looks down a good amount too. He's got a floaty crotch piece. Alright, for his arms you're going to want to be careful as they can be quite tight and a little bit scary to move. In particular, the shoulder pad is on a little ball joint which is quite small compared to the rest of him. Just move him carefully and firmly and try not to force anything. His arms raise up. The arm is attached and rotates at a bit of an angle. This is important to note when it comes to the accessories, and we'll talk about that later on. His arms go all the way up. Forward reach honestly is a little bit disappointing, but to be fair, he is a fairly tanky guy. A butterfly or a chest cut probably could have been added as there is quite a lot of sculpting and stuff, but it's no big deal. He reaches back this much. There is rotation at the shoulder. Bicep rotation. He has pretty big double jointed elbows which bend well. There will be a bit of a gap, but it's not too noticeable. There is some extra movement on the forearm, but mine was a little bit stiff. Hands are pretty standard stuff. There is a little floaty piece which might get in the way, but it's okay I think. His torso does have a few layers which bend and move very well. They can also be a little bit stiff, so be careful there. The layers allow him to look like he's extending and flexing, so that's pretty cool. Rotations are good, but sometimes it can be hard to get everything lined up, so be careful there. And he has some excellent tilts. Kind of thick as well. He's got fantastic side splits. and a forwards backwards split. So he can do super high kicks. The leg and hip area is in 2 sections, so he has some extra movement there, which is good. He's got double knees. He's got a little floaty ankle thing. His feet rotate. They go up and down, tilts, and he's got 2 toe bends. For such a beefy guy, his articulation is pretty good. It just takes a little bit of getting used to because his joints are pretty sturdy. And of course his forward reach was a little bit limited. Just a little bit of nitpicking, from the side you can kind of see the shoulder pad joint, which can be distracting. And when his arms are fully extended, there is a tiny gap at the front of the elbow too. Kind of minor things, but still. But what he can do is curl into a ball. Now let's talk accessories and what you need to be careful of, because some of these can be super scary. He's got some stand stuff. You can tighten these if you need to. For hands, he's got 3 pairs and an extra one. We've got default relaxed hands. We've got your standard fisties, of course. These all look quite good. We've got super open expressive type hands. And finally we got this hand. This is kind of similar, but also a little bit different. It is for holding the messed up Unkval head. So this thing can be a little bit tricky. You gotta get like really specific angles. Essentially a finger in the eye socket and the nose. And then the others kind of fall into place. I suppose it does hold on well enough. So he can only hold the head with the left hand. But the messed up head is a pretty cool addition. Of course you can remove the neck or the spine part. And then use it as an actual Unkval head. And don't forget to order your smashes, depending on when you're watching, links down below. So that's not all, actually we got this little charm thing, which is the same sculpt, so you can actually detach it and use it as an Unkval head. Or a Christmas ornament or something. So that's pretty cool. For Manticora himself, he's got a head swap where he loses one of his horns. The expression between these are a little bit different as well. He seems to be grinning in the broken one, which is a little bit creepy. There are 4 smoke effects as well. One of them plugs into the broken horn. When swapping out the head, just be careful of where you're grabbing it. There are some soft bits. 4 other broken bits, which that's foreshadowing because I broke something. We have this messed up, not sure if it's regenerating kind of arm. Alright, now this is the scary part because the left arm is very hard to remove. First of all, keep in mind the arm is attached at a funny angle. Secondly, I would suggest some heat first. Maybe a bit of shock oil or lube would help as well. And then try to move the shoulder pad out of the way and get a good grip on the ball. You probably wouldn't want to be grabbing onto the shoulder pad in case you break it. Try to get the arm positioned straight from where it plugs in. Giving it a firm pull with some wiggling should get it out. For my copy, it was very uncomfortable. Even though the deformed arm thing is kind of spiky, it's not too spiky. It's actually a little soft. Otherwise, we have the right forearm or hand cannon. So the original forearm is easy enough to pull out, didn't take too much effort. Just a little bit of heat. The issue here was plugging the cannon in. Try to have the elbow bent at 90 degrees and then pushing it in. The reason for this is that it's quite hard to get a grip on the spiky arm, and the elbow might keep moving as well. I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't do it on camera. But once it's on, it looks pretty cool. So if you notice on the packaging, it did say these spikes might deform. So it does say that you can bend them back into place, probably some heat will help. The rest of the smoke effects plug into this arm. Just match them up with these spikes and they should hold in place well enough. And of course one plugs in the front. Even though he doesn't feel like he has a lot of accessories, they do provide a good bunch of playability. And with all these swaps and stuff, he looks pretty insane. Super fun to mess around with. Especially when you try to experiment with different lighting and stuff. Now this is what you're going to want to look out for. When removing the arm cannon, be careful that you don't wedge your fingers under one of the black plates. It might sound obvious, but if you're really struggling to get the arm out, you might accidentally. So how you remove this is, once again, add some heat if you need to. Avoid putting force on the black plates, get a nice firm grip, and then of course give it a yank. If you are interested, we do have a Discord where we talk about figures and other hobby stuff. It is via YouTube membership or Patreon, linked down below. For height at a neutral standing pose looking forward, Manticora is about 7.5 inches or 19 centimeters. Looking up, it adds about 1 inch, so that's 8.5 inches or 21.5 centimeters. So he is pretty massive if you couldn't already tell. But of course he is a very well made figure. Super solid, poses well, looks badass. Definitely worth it, but there's just some minor things you might want to look out for. If you want to check out or grab some figures and stuff, I'll have some links down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.